Om Namah Shivaya. Good morning, Mzansi, and welcome to the ultimate Hindu experience on Sadhana, the Inward Path. In one of our Hindu scriptures, the Upanishads, there is a famous saying, Tattvamasi, that thou art, referring to consciousness. On the show today, we delve into the consciousness of Shiva during the recent sacred festival of Shivaratri and elevate our own consciousness through yoga for wellness, as well as the Ramayana, a blueprint for daily living. Scientists have yet to name it, this mysterious consciousness that drives the universe into motion. Saints of yore, however, have called this unknown energy Shiva. During the night of Shivaratri, it is said that this energy becomes most potent on earth. Our team joined the various temples in and around Lenasia in harnessing this energy on this holy night.
Since the beginning of time, almost every religion and culture acknowledges the omnipresent, all-pervading nature of the divine. In Hinduism, the holy night of Shivaratri recognizes this limitless divine energy as Shiva. The Shiva Lingam, a form used to worship the formless Shiva, is a focal point of prayer on Shivaratri. It is said to represent the cycle of creation, preservation, and dissolution, as well as a fundamental spiritual balance.
See, from a scientific point of view, the constellation of the planets, the way gravity works and so on this particular night, there's an upsurge of vertical energy that actually comes from the ground moving upwards. Now, we know that sort of from the transition in the animal kingdom, the spine was actually horizontal with all the chakras at the same level. Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipurka, Anahata, Visu, these psychic wheels of energy that make you progress spiritually from one level to another, from the physical to the spiritual. When we actually became vertical, that's when the brain developed the most, because the chakras were no longer now at all the same level. One was at the bottom and they were going vertically upwards. So we find that at the base of the Muladhara chakra is this Kundalini Shakti that we speak about. And the Shakti needs to be sort of like propelled upwards in order to start this spiritual journey. But this Shivaratri on this particular night has this great upsurge of this psychic energy together with the electromagnetic energy that comes naturally from the earth that moves upwards. So therefore, our sages believe that we should never sleep on this night. This particular night, you have the maximum amount of money. It is like taking your money. If the bank said, today we will give you the greatest interest rate if you put your money in on this particular night. This is why Shivaratri is such a great night, because the amount of benefit that we can attain on that particular night, because of the way the planets are structured and the way gravity operates, the way electromagnetic radiation works, we find that on this particular night, it is the easiest night for people to be stimulated spiritually, so that their quest to understand themselves, their relationship with nature, their relationship with this cosmic intelligence we call God, becomes much easier than any other night. Well, Mahashivaratri is actually the darkest night. And we know from science that the moon has a great effect on the mind of an individual. I mean, the moon has a great effect on water. It is the reason for high tides and low tides. We have 70% of our body in a human being made up of water. And the pull that the moon has on this water that exists in the human being also has a great effect. Therefore, when we say somebody is really gone crazy, we call him a lunatic because of the effect of the moon on that person's mind. So when there is no moon, like on this night of Shiva, this darkest night, you have the least effect of outside influences on the individual consciousness.
Lift in front of closing mouth and use your right hand to offer 5 times prasad Bhagavan. Om Pranaya Swaha, Om Aparaya Swaha, Om Vyanaya Swaha, Om Udanaya Swaha, Om Samanaya Swaha.
Shivaratri is a beautiful celebration. We enter the temple in darkness when the night is becoming dark, and we leave the temple when the sun is rising. So symbolically, just the ritual of coming into darkness, coming into the place of enlightenment when it is dark, it represents the state that most human beings are already in. We are enveloped by the darkness of ignorance, by the darkness of not knowing our own negativity. So this concept of entering the temple at the time of evening, when it's getting dark, symbolically represents the state that the human being already is in. However, this change or transformation that occurs throughout the night, and it is roughly at about 12 o'clock, where Shiva does this beautiful Tandava dance, the dance of realization. It is the dance that he does in every single atom in the universe, every single thing in the universe, and therefore every one of us, Shiva is dancing in a particular way, bringing about a kind of realization if we allow ourselves to, or we submit ourselves to that kind of change that occurs when we come to the temple with a pure heart, with a heart wanting to be transformed.
More than just a night of wakefulness, the 12-hour vigil from dusk to dawn is a night of harnessing heightened natural energies and raising the spiritual awareness within man.
Great yogis understood that on this particular night, there is a natural upsurge of energy in human beings, an energy that pushes one towards one's spiritual peak. Isn't it fascinating that they started this night-long festival to stay awake and keep the spine vertical to allow this natural upsurge of energies, uplifting our own consciousness?
Shiva Perumal created us as indestructible, limitless, all-powerful, because the very part, the very spark of the Nadarasa dances within your heart. You are indivisible. You are indestructible. You are all-powerful because Shiva Perumal dances within. That spark is eternal.
Shivaratri is an important part of our lives. If we cannot worship God every day of our lives, then what is the purpose of this life? And Shivaratri or Shivaneravu is every night. Every day is a Shiva's day. And this is a rightly so, where collectively we get together throughout the world and worship. I've been to Rishikesh, Haridwar, right up to the Himalayas. I've been fortunate that I've traveled far and wide, and today I see more and more people throughout the world worshipping God.
Abhishekam is the concept of representing the omnipresence of the Lord. We use wonderful substances. We use the milk, we use honey, we use ghee, we use curd, all the purest of substance to teach us that when we put the milk over the lingam, we don't see the milk, we still see the outline of the lingam, symbolizing that in milk is Brahman, in honey is Brahman. Because when, irrespective of whatever substance we use, when we use the panchamridam, the fruit, we take food and we put it over the lingam. In each one of them, we still see the lingam and not the substance that we are using. So in Abhishekam, we are teaching ourselves the attributes or the qualities we need to develop to attain moksha. Every item that is used, the curd, the milk, the water, teaches us of a quality we need to develop, the purity and the fertilizing nature of water, the cleansing nature of water, the life-giving form of water. We need to become like that. If we, through Abhishekam, learn that I need to develop the qualities of every substance that is utilized on the lingam for me to be able to merge, like how the substance goes over the lingam and becomes one with the murti, I need to become like that. The word Shiva represents Mangalam, represents auspiciousness. It means that which is all pragasham, that which is all illuminating, that which illumines every single part of the universe. On Shivaratri night, everything in life is about an attitude. Our attitude in life determines how high we will soar. It is not our aptitude. It is not sort of like how much we know. It is with what kind of devotion, what kind of bhakti, what kind of surrendering attitude I come to the temple. When we come to the temple on the night of Shivaratri and we allow ourselves to be influenced by the chanting,
Tirakarivar Abhiramiye Swaha, Kanyakumari Deviye Swaha, Jotani Karibagavadiye Swaha, Kulangalur Bhagavadiye Swaha, Narayani Deviye Swaha, Nagaraj Nageshwariye Swaha, Mer Marvatur Adiparasaktiye Swaha, Jagan Madhaviye Swaha, Bhuvan Madhaviye Swaha, Akhil Roganaye Swaha, Brahmandanaye Swaha, Ulagatilanaye Swaha, Maharaniye Swaha, Maharaganiye Swaha, Mahaviri Bhushita.
All our celebrations have a different flavor, if you like it. They have a different appeal for different types of individuals. For example, in the celebration of Kavadi, we find a highly emotionalized person who would dance with his Kavadi, would not worry too much about the stories related to Muruga and so on, but would in ecstasy, he will dance and be happy experiencing this divine atmosphere that exists amongst Kavadi devotees, as well as the yatra or the procession that moves from where the Kavadis are prepared to the temple itself. Shivaratri, on the other hand, is a very, very serene celebration. People sit often in meditation, very much like Shiva Yogi himself, and will utter, sometimes there's some temples that they utter Om Namah Shivaya the entire night for 12 hours. I know certain ashrams where they only do this. So where the excitement of Kavadi is on one end, Shivaratri on the other end is a different type of celebration. Like that throughout the entire year, scattered and throughout the year, we have different celebrations that will appeal to different parts of one's personality. And when one allows oneself to be part of every one of them, one actually stimulates a different part of your being. The human being is made up of the 5 elements, the 5 senses, the 5 organs of action, the 5 pranas, the 5 koshas, the 7 chakras, mind, intellect, ego. So like that, every part of that human being in different festivals, a different part of him is called upon to become part of that festival. So when we celebrate this throughout the year, our entire being gets soaked in divinity and then expresses itself in this wonderful, calm, happy, joyful, pleasant person who has great ambition, has great wakes up every single morning believing that what a great day, how thankful I should be for all the wonderful things that I have, because every part of his body has become energized with the different divine forces that each festival specifically brings to that individual.
In keeping with our theme of Shivaratri, Lord Shiva is regarded as the Adi Yogi, the one from whom yoga originated. Today on Yoga for Wellness, Kugan demonstrates Danda Asana, a pose with particular benefits to asthmatics. This is followed by Lokeshji on the Ramayan.